So you're ending physical media in 2028. You're apparently going through some sort of lawsuits because you're getting accused of monopolizing the PlayStation Store. And then now you're terminating accounts after 3 years of inactivity. This is a bad day for PlayStation fans, man.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 games. We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
So I can't even take a day break without having to hear that Sony is just diving themselves into deeper messes. Okay, I read everything. We're going to cover everything that we know now. So about PlayStation regarding their physical media, people who spoke out about it, just all the backlash, and in the PlayStation account situation. I want to start this video off by saying, one, PlayStation has dug themselves a deeper hole. This is an opportunity for Microsoft, even Nintendo, or anybody else to speak up and to try to like do anything else. I mean, the digital disc thing that Microsoft is trying to do, the digital with the discs integration, I don't know how that just seems a little bit kind of iffy for me. But if there's any responses that these guys can do, it would probably help their case, because what PlayStation is doing is absolutely egregious. It's greedy. It doesn't make any sense. And no disrespect to the digital collectors here, because I got a digital library, you know, and all that stuff. I made a point in my previous video that you do not own any video game in your digital library under PlayStation's terms of service. And I'm assuming even Microsoft's as well. You do not own any physical, or any digital media that you have on your PlayStation account. Someone tried to challenge it. It was that easy to just go onto the PlayStation terms of service chapters, section 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, where they explain in detail, and I'll have it up on the screen right here. We'll just put a timestamp for it, where they explain in their language, in PlayStation business language, and I'm gonna just say it here in regular, that you may not trade, you may not burn, copy, paste anything of that media. You do not own the property to this media. And if they want, they can take that media away. You are purchasing the license to play this game for a duration of time. That time can be a year, 2, 10, or 20, or 30 years. Okay? You do not own your digital library. So when you don't own your digital library, what ends up happening is, God forbid anything happens, you cannot fight to get your game back. You can't go on Twitter. You can't voice a complaint. They've been stated this. We just know that in the moments, we are enjoying our game sessions. We are enjoying the time that we have with our games and with our friends and everybody. So we purchase these digital games. But as of right now, they're not seeming to change this policy. This is something that they're going to be introducing into the long run, because the rest of their business practices, they all work together like a big scam. Okay, so let's talk about it. PlayStation ended they came out with a statement talking about how they're going to end physical media 2028 in January, right? The public spoke out. It was ridiculous, but PlayStation went ahead already, and after they announced this, they also reached out into Austria, where their company is, that they manufactured all their physical media, and they already ended distribution for that, for media that starts from 2028 and over. However, it's a little bit funky because something else happens in the mix. So it was reported that the shift in that Austria factory, I'm gonna just say Austria PlayStation factory, which whatever it's called, they already shift their thing over to making only digital lenses and other products. They're no longer manufacturing discs, right? I'm gonna go ahead and bring up a piece that just happened recently. Basically, them getting called out so much, PlayStation then was under fire and responds and says, "Oh no, you can still get physical media in 2028, but it has to be under this loophole." Pretty much any game that comes out January 2028 and forward, there's going to be no discs printed out for that. However, if you guys want a copy of God of War, Last of Us, or all these other games, we'll still print those games out for you. So what it's stupid. What's the purpose? So you end physical media distribution like in 2028, but you're still willing to print out discs for the previous games? Like it just doesn't make sense. If you're going digital, go digital. If you're gonna still stay with the physical, then there was no point in doing what you did. You kind of backpedaled a little bit, and you're trying to make it seem like, oh no, you can still make discs. You can still make discs today. It just so happens that in 2028, we just won't do anything for the new games that are coming out. And that right there, to announce that a couple years early, seemed a little bit funky, right? But it doesn't end here. PlayStation's undergoing many different antitrust and consumer lawsuits due to the fact that they are doing some shady business practices, or getting accused of doing some shady business practices with their PlayStation Store. For those that don't know, there is no legitimate third-party websites or any other websites that will allow you to purchase any of their video games digital. Now, you may come across a few of their games digital. You might come across a key or two. You might see God of War somewhere, Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West, or Spider-Man 1 or 2. You might see some of those games somewhere digital. Even I think it's called Play Asia or PlayStation Asia. They may have some digital keys for you to purchase. However, they don't have a stationary third-party site that actually distributes digital codes for your PlayStation games. Now, if you see God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon on the PC, no, we're not counting that. You can find keys, CD keys for that all day. But if you go to the PlayStation Store, what has happened is they made it to where no one can compete with them with their prices. They don't have to price adjust on you. You can only find their games digitally on their store. Some of you might be out there like, yeah, why not? It's a business. Fall back, buddy. I don't know where you guys spawned from, but you guys must have spawned. You guys are like mini boss fights that we just got to kick in the head to get out the way. Because clearly you're an NPC. You just don't understand what's happening. Pretty much, there's never been a problem with people loving some deals. And you being able to go to like Walmart and say, hey, can you price adjust this controller or this game? It's actually $30 in Best Buy, but you guys are selling it for $40. And they might price adjust it. You can find competition in different stores. Black Friday, everybody shops on Black Friday. You might find sales of the same games, but cheaper in different places. Stores do that all the time. If Target was to be the only store, or Best Buy was to be the only store that was able to sell PlayStation games or to sell certain stuff, just like Apple did, and they got in trouble because they weren't allowed to do it. They got called out for trying to monopolize their store as well, and they were undergoing a lawsuit as well. They weren't allowed to do it. Even the UK with their chargers, they were like, no, you better change your chargers now to USB-C. You're not allowed to monopolize a whole ecosystem of chargers and other stuff that they were actually doing. It's a real thing. That's an actual problem. If you don't find that to be a problem, you're honestly either just a contrarian, or you may not understand the issues that kind of go along with these problems. Which means, and I'm gonna say it right here, PlayStation used to actually have a lot of sales. They used to do tons of sales. Not only that, respectfully, after 4 years of a game, they used to reduce the price of their games in their store permanently. Now, you'll notice the only time you can get God of War for a full price often is if it's through a subscription of one of their PlayStation Plus models. And if you end up ending that subscription, you lose that game anyways. Or two, you could probably get a discount too from it. And then when the thing ends, your PlayStation ends, yeah, you bought it for a discount, but it required you to still subscribe to something else. But PlayStation Store is a little bit finicky. If you actually go to the store, and I'm gonna timestamp this part, if you look at the screen, it's not consistent. Sometimes you might see the full price of the game, $70. You're like, God of War, $70, Ragnarok? But when you scroll down, the discounted price is at the bottom, or a certain edition. They make it very hard. It's not that easy or intuitive to just go out there, purchase a game, and see that the price is there. They don't even show that there is a discount price. You have to actually go through their site and actually search for it. So they make it very difficult. It's anti-consumer and also anti-competition. It doesn't give people no opportunity to find deals anywhere else. And that's why they're undergoing this lawsuit. Okay? Just letting y'all know that, because some people sit here and with their jaws wide open trying to just defend practices. And I'm like, but you don't benefit off this. Again, you don't own your digital library. I don't know how much I need to say this, but you don't. Now, going back to my first initial point, PlayStation is going to end physical production on their media, on physical media 2028. When given the statement and the reason why, it never made any sense to many people. They were confused. Some people thought it was because of Trump and tariffs. Some people thought it was for greed. I think it's more so on the greed part. I feel like we're entering a place where these companies are trying to make back more money and they don't want to bleed more cash. Look at what's happening with Microsoft, right? Outside of that, though, it's still a little bit finicky. So the reason why PlayStation wanted to go the route of just straight digital now, and they're ending production in 2028 for their physical media, is because they put out a listing or a chart that showed they sell more games digital, and they want to follow the trends of that. That's inaccurate. So apparently, a lot of proof has been leaked. A lot of sales documents have been leaked that their physical media has been really up there competing with their digital sales, if not selling more. And it's not just like blatant, like people are just buying physical media just because of the sake of it. A lot of their first party titles, people truly support them and collect them, whether if it's Spider-Man 1 or 2, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, or Horizon Zero Dawn, Saros. People are buying more of the physical case of these games than they are buying the digital, or at least matching it in percentages. The reason why the overall percentage of the digital percentage that they put out seems like it's outweighing the physical media is because allegedly PlayStation was counting DLC. They were counting microtransactions, and they were counting games that never released with a physical copy. So if an indie title comes out, it becomes a hit and sells 5 million on a PlayStation, they were counting that. Yet there was never a physical disc version of this game that would exist, making it a complete lie, a complete and utter lie to the market, to the market, to the consumer, and a decision as to why they are currently looking to go digital from in the foreseeable future in 2028. And they are counting, like, if you buy VC, that's considered DLC, that's considered downloadable content, that's a microtransaction. They are counting that. So all these games year on out that are purchasing DLC all year round, it's gonna, of course, outweigh physical sales of discs. That is crazy. So PlayStation got caught doing that. They were caught taking down cease and desist of people's articles and statements and pictures and proof. This is absolutely nuts. And somebody needs to sue them. Look, I'm not gonna lie, the average consumer is not gonna stop Sony's practices. What's gonna stop Sony's practices is when when that one entity gets involved. So you need social media to kind of uproar that. But like when people say, I'm gonna just cancel my game, or I'm gonna cancel my game, and that's not gonna stop them, man, because the whole population ain't gonna stop them. What's gonna end up happening is you need a big entity that comes across these articles, and they're gonna start issuing shit towards PlayStation. That's what needs to happen. Because unfortunately, there's many people outside of what I say, and I'm just discussing the news, and what you guys may feel, and they just completely feel the opposite. We've seen it in my comment section. Some people were like, man, I'm still buying these digital games. Man, fuck, I haven't bought physical media in 10 years. Yeah, you're one out of like 7 billion people, pal. And you clearly don't know why. Like, it's insane, but I digress with that. Now, we've seen two sources kind of speak out in their own way, and this will be very brief, and then we'll get into the main thing that I just read today, and it's absurd, okay? So Hideo Kojima and Naughty Dog, in their own right, kind of spoke out, gave a reaction to how they feel about Sony doing this, and I'm pretty sure other entities have as well. The legend Hideo Kojima, who I need that OD game to come out already, basically was in an interview in Rome and basically spoke out on the situation and said, hey, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this digital media. I'm really sad about it. He didn't grow up on this, and this is not something that he's pleased with. He wants to go ahead and support as much physical media as possible. He wants to go ahead and buy PS3 games, PS2 games, and he wants to make sure that he gets his library going, because in his eyes, he thought as physical media would be a continuing thing to the day he dies. He would think like, oh, I can always go back and visit a store. I can visit a Comic-Con or visit somewhere and pick up my physical media. Well, with this kind of situation happening, it's not only knocking off just physical media, it's going to price hike other places. You're going to have people trying to now price hike games that were $6 up to like $20 now. It's going to look like gas prices. It's going to look like the prices of eggs. You have Naughty Dog, who also kind of like reacted to it, and they put on a banner just all the physical media over the years of what they put out. And it may not be the biggest statement to many people who's watching this, but those are important statements, because these are people who work closely with PlayStation, who are currently working closely with PlayStation. That tells you, if you have to leave your home, some people are willing to leave home. Microsoft, you guys got to come up with something, because this is an opportunity where, yeah, you are kind of being iffy too by closing studios, but this is a big opportunity for you to say, hey, listen, we got to keep this going. This marathon cannot just end here. Physical media is as more important to many people out there, even if you are a digital collector. And it's so many different reasons as to why. And I think those who think one way and don't acknowledge, or at least understand a little bit of why the physical media thing is very important, is the same people who y'all probably look to complain why these TVs are overpriced, why buying a PC right now is overpriced. Oh my God, remember back in the 90s and the 80s when we used to play this? Well, guys like you who have this already made up in your head that you're going to go this way, you guys are influencing, you're influencing the higher ups to say, yo, we need to support these guys only. And we're getting all screwed in the mix of it, okay? Now let's talk about this Sony BS. This Sony BS. I believe it said back in April, Sony updated their terms of service. Or maybe it was recently, but it doesn't matter. PlayStation. So, if your account is inactive for 3 years, they will terminate your account and you will lose everything. Sony's telling you, we're going to put you behind bars. You're going to see the light of day for 1 hour a day. We're going to give you this hard-ass PB&J, and you're going to do the crime even if you ain't do the motherfucking crime. All right, you're going to do the time if you ain't do the crime. They don't care. They don't care. So what is happening here? PlayStation has the ability to terminate your PS5 account or just PlayStation account and all your games over inactivity. PlayStation has given itself the ability to terminate your PS5 account and remove access to all your PS5 games. It can also do the same with the PS5 Pro and PS4, and it was able to do this with the and it's going to be able to do this with the PS6 as well. Where Sony has been making some controversial decisions on its own lately, this change appears to be driven by regulation out of European Union, which has driven a ton of regulation of the video game industry this generation. Oh man, this gets nasty. Back in April, PlayStation quietly updated its terms of service, which anyone seldom reads. As a result, it flew under the radar until now. In the wake up of all the recent PlayStation controversy involving discs, it says people are digging up anything and everything they can find to fire at Sony. This is when the update was revealed and another PR crisis for PlayStation was born. Okay? So it says, If a PlayStation account goes inactive for 36 months, which is 3 years, Sony has the ability to begin closing the account, which consists of contacting the owner via email and letting them know they have 6 months to sign in or request the account be kept open, or it will be closed. This will prevent the user from accessing PSN and all of its digital purchases made with the account and be inaccessible. Best yet, the termination is irreversible. First off, they did this whole bullshit where you got to log in every 30 days to renew your licenses of your games or whatever. That was stupid too. But there's an image here. I'm going to put on screen. I'm going to put on a screen. Closing your account. Section 21.1 says you may close your account by contacting us using the details at Section 28. But Section 21.2 states, if you have not used your account for at least 36 months, we may take steps to close it. In that case, we will contact you via email address registered to your account and give you 6 months to either log into your account or contact us to tell us to keep your account open. This is horrible. And you're going to get people that's going to think dense again. Man, what the hell you have a console for if you ain't gonna log in? Man, you can't even log in 3 years, then that's your problem. That's a you problem. The same people who sit here and tell people to go touch grass, huh? The same people who sit here all day and look sloppy as hell, unhealthy because they can't get off that goddamn game is gonna be the ones to tell you, well, that's a you problem. When the bigger issue is there's so many different, look, this to tell you how you know people don't go outside. People haven't experienced how beautiful life can be despite all the discrepancies that's been going on, all the disruption, all the distractions. Life can be so beautiful, but also life can come at you with a fastball, with a curveball. It just doesn't matter. Some people are in the military and they got to move every 6 months. Some people are away from their homes for a long time and they're not able to access their personal console. They may not have kids or whatever. You have people who constantly move all day, who can't afford it, who had to put their stuff in storage, are in an unfortunate situation. You have people literally who have jobs that may be incredible, but they're not able to take the days off to play like we do. Some people own businesses. Some people run a business. But let me guess, they shouldn't own a console then? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the dense responses. And I feel like those people they bite their nails all the way to the brim and they start bleeding from their gums and shit. I don't know. Because it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, the simple fact that your account, you pay for these games, they should never take these accounts from you unless the company was going under and you have no choice but to lose all your stuff because there's no way Sony can recover. This is absurd. There may be another lawsuit in place, but because it's coming from the European Union of something, I don't know what it is. It seems like it's going to stay in place. This is absurd. There's people, and even though it's 3 years, yes, you have 3 years to log into that account. There's people whose family members have passed away, and maybe a sibling or someone's like, I'm not able to log into their account, but we was game sharing, so I'm able to play. God forbid, I'm just thinking about any scenario where it may be difficult to just be able to play. Now, 3 years, again, it is a long time, but that shouldn't be a thing. You should not be hindered, or there should not be no consequences faced because you're not playing your games for a certain duration of time. At the very least, doesn't matter. You still purchased that console. You still bought these games. All this is under the umbrella, and it's just making everything uncomfortable. It's making gaming a chore. It's making gaming a job. The idea of being able to terminate somebody's account just because they're inactive for a certain duration of time is the same shit by saying that you're able to take away people's movies, digital library, take away people's digital games just because of the fact that a license might end. But you want to sell these games at a full price of $79. That's where the disconnect is. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. It's worth noting that the language used is not definitive. It says that Sony may start this process if an activity threshold is triggered. To this end, this could be more appeasing to regulators than anything else and may not be common. Unfortunately, we don't know. Of course, this is not going to impact the majority of PlayStation fans, but it's going to impact some. People fall in and out of gaming. Some circumstances in life take a hobby away from them, and with people on a temporary basis. The option to request the account stay active after receiving an email is a good option for consumers, but there are going to be accounts that don't know about any of this, and then when they go inactive, they're going to end up losing their account. This is a very bad day for PlayStation users, a very bad day for gaming. Coming from the year that's just one of the most strongest years in gaming that we've seen, this is just one of the worst takes, one of the worst decisions. And again, when you continue to support companies whose business practice relies on shit like this, you fall under that umbrella, bro. You just fall under that umbrella. So you're ending physical media in 2028. You're apparently going through some sort of lawsuits because you're getting accused of monopolizing the PlayStation Store. And then now you're terminating accounts after 3 years of inactivity. This is a bad day for PlayStation fans, man.